Alrighty, let's go through all the pairs real quick. All of the pairs have actually reached the zone. Now we just have to monitor for the reaction, meaning we just have to wait for the price to create a setup, right? So now the current price, we're starting with EJ, right? Today you guys picked EJ, CAD, JPY, and GBP USD. Now mind you, today we do have high impact news on USD pairs later in the day during the US session. For the GBP news, it has already passed, so we're not going to worry about that. We're going to focus on USD later in the US session, okay? But starting off with Euro JPY. Now Euro JPY, I have marked this zone which is an engulfing buy that failed. Price came back, created this first engulfing sell. Then from there you can see it created this engulfing sell also while still respecting this key level, right? You can see that it poked this key level to drop down, and now the price is testing the key level, literally the key level. If I were to go into a smaller time frame, I have actually marked, this was the M5 that I marked before my analysis because I wanted to see if it was going to respect this, but let me just adjust, okay, like this for you. The current price is doing this. Let me explain. We have an engulfing sell meeting a potential engulfing sell if in 2 minutes it closes as a sell, but it has failed to break this engulfing sell fail. And this sell fail is so powerful that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles tapped into this zone and shot up, leaving wicks. Okay, so the buyers over here are really not trying to give up. So if this creates an engulfing sell, meets an engulfing sell, okay, if it creates an engulfing sell, meets an engulfing sell, to make it even lower risk is you want the price to break this zone, right? But you can still enter from this engulfing sell, meets an engulfing sell. But to lower the risk even more is to wait for the price to break this engulfing sell fail. Okay, so you can have your first entries somewhat over here and then second entry as the M5 breaks it, okay, because it lowers the risk to do that. So that's just something to monitor, right? M15 has created this engulfing buy failed, so still it's a buy fail, okay? As long as it does not break above this buy fail, we can still potentially find sell setups, okay? But again, monitor these M5 if you want to catch any entries, and you can go into this M15. Now that the M5 has closed as an engulfing sell meets an engulfing sell, you can even go into an M1 to find a sharper entry, okay, a sharper entry. But that's just the entry. Let's see what it can do, okay? Let's see what the price can do. We have 2 sell zones. I've actually marked it all for each pair, just for something that you can monitor with either today or the potentials of tomorrow if it doesn't reach, okay? So if H4 continues to respect our zone, then we can look for sell setups. But if H4 decides to come up and break our zone, meaning it's not ready to sell yet, we have another sell zone up top, which is an engulfing sell meets an engulfing sell. Okay, this is the highest point of where the price reached over here, so that's why I'm taking that rather than taking engulfing fails over here, because this would be the premium price, right? Premium price out of everything that is going on around here, because we have so many zones around here, so I chose one that's the best for me. Okay, so we have that. Now, after the price breaks, either it can come and test this zone in one go or retrace back into our key level for a better buy up. Because although this is a sell zone, of course, zones can be broken too, right? Zones can be broken too. Oops. Okay, zones can be broken too. Now, vice versa, if it just drops straight into our buy zone, our next level buy zone, and respects it, then potentially we can look for a buy back up. If it breaks down below, then we can look for the next buy zone, as well as wait for the price to retrace back into our key level for a better buy up. Okay, so same thing. Now again, where to monitor for your entries, M5 and M15. Like I told you just now, I mapped out M5 for you, so something that you can monitor and maybe catch an entry from, okay? But once the zone is broken, you can cut your losses just to manage your losses, or just respect SL. Okay, so that is completely up to you. Now for CAD JPY, you can see that this H4 tapped into the key level, but we have an engulfing buy that failed. Price came back, created this engulfing sell. So if it continues to respect this, then we can look for a sell setup. Our buy over here is an engulfing sell that failed. Price came in, respected multiple times. We have our first engulfing buy, then we have our second engulfing buy. Then we have another sell up here. I'm not taking anything over here because it's quite in the black zone. There's nothing much happening over here. So I want to take it from the tops. The most top and the most bottom for the maximum potential of price. Okay, maximum potential of profits, maximum potential of movement. That is what I want. Okay, I don't want to just scalp 20-30 pips. You can if you want to, but that is not my style of trading. I like holding for bigger pips, so that's why I like to trade from zone to zone. Okay, I like to trade from zone to zone, so that's me. Okay, so now CAD JPY, what can it do? Now that it's dropped a little bit, just wait for the price to retrace back. Try to find your setups over there, and if you can catch it, then you can enter. Make sure you wait for the setup to complete, meaning if it's an EG meets EG, whether it's M5 or M15, fine. EF, EG, or EF, EG, EG. Now, these are the things that I teach, and I always make sure to recite it, repeat it. Okay, so some of you who have not seen or do not watch my analysis, that is your loss. Okay, that is your loss. Now, if the price or H4 closes above the zone, then potentially it might want to test a higher zone. And perfect that we have another zone up here, okay, for it that potentially to test. If it breaks, either we wait for this zone or we wait for the key level for the opposite direction. Vice versa, same thing goes for our lower buy zone, right? If it comes into our buy zone and respects it, we can try to find a bounce. But if it breaks down low, then I might want to test a lower area. Okay, so SLs, again, if you are a newbie, please make sure you set your SLs 40 pips from your entry. This is not too tight, not too loose. Once it runs 20 pips, you can set break even. Doing that, you will not lose anything if the price retraces back, okay? Because it's better to lose nothing than something just for hope, okay? In hopes of gaining something. So follow the plan and be disciplined. So if you do not know where to exit or cut loss, set your SL at 40 pips to help manage your losses. All right, so that's for CAD JPY. Last but not least, we have GBP USD. Also just is trampling our zone right now, or using it to trampoline up, bounce up from here, but it's okay. We wait, okay? The whole idea of trading is to be patient. So once again, we have our engulfing sell fail that now is leaving a wick on this current H4. So what do? We wait for the price to come into our zone, be patient about it, and if it respects it, potentially we can look for a bounce back up. But if it breaks down low, then we wait for the next area. Vice versa, same thing. If it comes into our sell zone and respects it, this is an engulfing buy that failed. Okay, so if it comes into our sell zone and respects it, potentially we can look for a sell down. But if it breaks above, then it might want to test a higher area. TPs, you can TP like me, zone from zone, or key level from key level, or you can TP at market structures in the lower time frame. You can also do that. Or if you are comfortable with 10, 20, 30 pips, 20, 40, 60 pips, or however you like to set your TP 1, 2, 3s, stick to that. Okay, and slowly build tolerance to it, so you can let your trades hit automatically rather than you pressing the button to close itself, because I know a lot of you regret that because you're not able to hold for long. So slowly build up your tolerance. Okay, so that's it for the 3 pairs. Please do not rush into the market, and I will get back to checking your method. Okay, have a good